Japan is a thriving, well-developed nation with over 125 million residents. What's truly mind-boggling is its near-zero homelessness rate, hovering around an astonishing 0.003% of the population. That's just around 3,000 homeless individuals. Compared to the United States, with a population of about 331 million, the difference is striking. In 2022, around 582,000 Americans experienced homelessness, which means approximately 18 out of every 10,000 people were affected. But how did Japan achieve this remarkable feat? Let's dive into the key reasons contributing to Japan's extremely low homelessness rate. Firstly, being homeless in Japan is incredibly challenging due to the deeply ingrained stigma within the Japanese culture. Homeless individuals are seen as having only themselves to blame for their situation, which leads to little compassion or support from the public. This stigma is particularly strong towards homeless men, who are traditionally expected to be self-reliant, making their failure to do so a source of embarrassment. Furthermore, Japanese authorities make it harder for people to be homeless compared to most countries. Begging in public is banned by law, and cities like Tokyo employ anti-homeless or hostile architecture designs to discourage people from sleeping in public areas. These measures make homelessness socially unacceptable and contribute to the low rate. Additionally, some of Japan's unique policies not directly aimed at reducing homelessness inadvertently play a role. Japan has very strict laws on drugs, except for alcohol, resulting in a remarkably low drug addiction rate compared to the United States. Moreover, Japan's robust healthcare system ensures that people with severe mental illnesses are often placed in mental health institutions, reducing the number of mentally ill individuals living on the streets. Another critical reason is Japan's relatively accessible housing. As a result of fewer regulations and easier construction, makes it more affordable for people to find housing, reducing the likelihood of homelessness. In the early 1990s, Japan experienced an economic crisis triggered by the collapse of its real estate bubble. The bursting of this bubble led to a sharp decline in property values, causing severe financial distress for many individuals and businesses. The construction sector, which had been a major driver of the economy, suffered a significant setback, resulting in widespread job losses. As a consequence of the economic downturn, a growing number of people found themselves without stable employment and faced difficulties in securing steady, regular jobs with decent pay. This group of individuals, often referred to as Japan's lost generation, struggled to recover from the economic impact, leaving them with no status, no place in society, and seemingly no future. During this period, homelessness started to emerge as a visible social issue in Japan. However, the Japanese government did not take decisive action to address the problem during this initial wave of homelessness. Fast forward to recent years, and the government's response to homelessness has been more proactive. Between 2018 and 2020, concerted efforts were made to address the issue, leading to a 12% decline in the number of homeless individuals. The official figures went from 4,555 to 3,992 people in a country with a population of over 125 million. At present, the government claims that only 3,448 people are homeless in Japan, seemingly suggesting an almost negligible homelessness rate of 0% when rounded off. However, these statistics may not tell the full story. While some progress has been made in reducing the number of visible homeless individuals, the reality is more complex and nuanced. An important factor contributing to the decrease in visible homelessness was the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic forced Japan, like many other countries, to implement strict lockdown measures to contain the spread of the virus. As a part of these measures, cyber cafes, which had become makeshift shelters for many homeless people, were closed down. Japanese cyber cafes, apart from offering internet access, provided crucial amenities, such as computer games, television, food, and even showers. These 24-hour establishments served as a refuge for those who couldn't afford stable housing. The closure of these cafes during the pandemic left many homeless individuals without a safe place to stay, making them even more vulnerable. In response to this situation, authorities in cities like Tokyo, where homelessness was more concentrated, took steps to protect the homeless population. They offered temporary accommodations in vacant hotels, which had experienced a drop in occupancy due to the pandemic's impact on travel and tourism. Additionally, in some places like Saitama, municipal buildings and sports centers were utilized to provide shelter and support to the homeless. While these actions may have offered some relief to a portion of the homeless population during the pandemic, they also shed light on the ongoing challenges faced by homeless individuals in Japan. The closure of cyber cafes and the subsequent response to house the homeless in temporary shelters underscored the underlying vulnerabilities and hardships endured by those experiencing homelessness. It is important to note that official statistics, though reflecting a decrease in visible homelessness, may not fully capture the entire homeless population. Many individuals, often referred to as net cafe refugees, continue to live on the fringes of society, seeking refuge in 24-hour internet cafes that serve as temporary shelters. This group remains excluded from official counts and government support programs. The issue of homelessness in Japan is more complex than what the official statistics suggest. Some activists and research groups argue that the government's reported homeless population is much lower than the reality on the ground. For instance, the Advocacy Research Center for Homelessness, consisting of students and reporters, estimates that Japan's actual homeless population might be 2.7 times greater than what the government claims. One of the reasons behind this discrepancy is that homelessness is not as visibly evident in Japan as it might be in other countries. Homeless individuals in Japan often avoid begging and may make money from recycling cans instead. Additionally, many homeless men sever ties with their families due to the stigma associated with homelessness. To maintain a semblance of dignity, they keep themselves clean and attempt not to look homeless. Begging is not allowed in Japan, and it is considered a criminal offense according to Japanese laws. Moreover, societal prejudice often blames homeless individuals for their own misfortune, making it challenging for them to seek help or support. However, the financial crisis of 2008 changed the perception of homelessness in Japan. Many Japanese people found themselves in vulnerable situations, prompting authorities to implement social assistance programs to help those affected get back on their feet. Interestingly, much of the effort to combat homelessness in Japan is led by NGOs, including religious groups and voluntary associations. The government does not consider homelessness a top priority, as it is not as overtly visible as in some other countries. Nevertheless, measures have been taken to prevent the problem from worsening, and in 2017, the Homeless Self-Support Act was extended for 10 more years. The act, which originated in 2002, aims to assist homeless individuals in finding employment through training courses and offers incentives to businesses to hire these citizens. Additionally, subsidized rent options and direct food aid are provided to those in need. Despite these efforts, many anti-poverty associations criticize the government's approach, arguing that the measures to get people off the streets are insufficient and sometimes inhumane. Hostile urban architecture, for instance, is designed to deter homeless individuals from sitting or sleeping on the streets, which activists deem as an inhumane approach. This brings us to an important question. Does eradicating homelessness also mean eradicating poverty? That's a question that Japan, as one of the most successful countries in addressing homelessness, grapples with. Despite its relatively high house prices, Japan has managed to keep its official homelessness rate at around 0.003% of its population, which is remarkably low. However, this seemingly positive statistic may not tell the whole story. Japan's journey to combat homelessness began with dismantling homeless settlements in preparation for the 2020 Olympic Games. Yet, the COVID-19 pandemic forced a postponement, leaving some finished infrastructures, like the Olympic Village, unused. A non-profit organization, the Moyai Support Center for Independent Living, proposed using the Olympic Village to house the homeless during the pandemic. Despite a petition with over 50,000 signatures, the authorities didn't accept the proposal, and this highlights the temporary nature of some solutions. Indeed, while Japan's efforts have provided temporary relief, they may not address the underlying causes of poverty. According to Reina Rusenko, a researcher at Tokyo's Sophia University, these measures haven't focused on improving the root causes of poverty, making them insufficient as permanent solutions. When comparing homelessness worldwide, Japan still stands out as a success story. In Europe, Germany faces around 650,000 homeless individuals, while Pakistan, with approximately 20 million homeless people, struggles in Asia. Nigeria, with over 24 million homeless, highlights the challenges faced by developing countries. Honduras, with about 1 million homeless people, and Colombia, with around 5 million, grapple with significant homelessness in the Americas. Australia, despite its prosperity, deals with 100,000 homeless people in Oceania. While Japan's official homelessness rate may appear enviable, it's essential to consider the hidden homeless population that goes unaccounted for in official statistics. To truly eradicate homelessness and address poverty, there's a need for more comprehensive and long-term solutions that focus on the root causes of this societal issue. In conclusion, Japan's approach to combating homelessness is commendable, but it also raises important questions about the effectiveness and sustainability of their solutions. While the official statistics may show a remarkably low homelessness rate, the reality of hidden homelessness and poverty remains a challenge. Now, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think are the most effective ways to address homelessness and poverty in society? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future updates. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much for watching.